So around the third day of amphoreus' release, I started doing the story quest and managed to get through about 30% of it in one sitting after playing for about 4 to 5 hours. And I really enjoyed the story and really wanted to see more of them when I had the time. And I made a post about my surprise regarding KKaceh's personality, despite in the trailer she always looks so gloomy. And to my surprise, in the comment section of that post, there are some people who hate the way the story is told to the point they call it sucks or so bad. I was like, I didn't notice anything major that holds the story back at all. I was really absorbed with the lore and the characters. So I was reading through the whole comments and they talk about black screen. I was like, this is fine. It is not a glaring issue. I've played so many story games, and as long as the story is good, the way it delivers is a secondary. Except when very important story is being told instead of being shown, like what Final Fantasy 15 did. That is bad and it's a glaring issue. And I start thinking, if I was to guess, all this black screen stuff is probably caused by the limitation from the game development sites. And I've played countless video games, including RPG games, that still has amazing, if not some of my favorite story, despite the limitation from development sites. So the black screen thing didn't really bother me, or even the lack of the animations. So after that, I become more conscious about all these details. So after that, I finished amphoreus' story, and even after becoming conscious about all of this black screen or lack of animation or dynamic camera movement, I still really enjoy what I saw. It is a good update, but it is not the greatest thing ever made, and it is also not the worst thing that I've ever seen. So I was like, this is a fine update, not too bad. And then this particular video showed up in my YouTube homepage by Saint Tontas. I don't know how to pronounce his channel name. I was like, huh? Honkai Star Rail 3.0 is unplayable? Sure, the black screen and the weak usage of the camera kind of brings down the enjoyment for some people, but are we even playing the same game? Unplayable? It makes me question, are these people playing the game with the intention of nitpicking and bringing up drama and controversy? Or are they logging in, trying to enjoy the game and the story? I was confused. Then there's another video shop in my homepage. We deserve an apology from Hoyoverse? I was like, huh? I'm thinking, are we above the developers? They created something that because some people happen not to like them, we deserve an apology? For me, if anything, the developers deserve immediate feedback from the people with strong voices, like big content creators, and asking them to be a bit more transparent on these issues. Share with the fans why things happen the way they are. That's what we need right now, not more dramas. And just want to rant a little bit. I used to respect this Sentontas for defending Wuthering Waves from many aggressive hoyoverse fans, because I love Wuthering Waves, but my channel is just too small to talk about it. But now, Sentontas himself becoming the haters that used to attack Wuthering Waves. Truly unfortunate in my opinion. This is one of the main reasons why I dislike the gacha space so much and I don't interact much with it outside my own YouTube videos and the community posts. The drama content likes to blow things out of proportion. There's so many people actively trying to bring other games down. Why can't they just all exist in the same space? And on top of that, the majority of the people lack the critical thinking and analysis skill to come up with their own conclusion and try to listen to their own feelings, which is why the drama content creators are able to farm their engagement. The reason why I decided to make this video because I truly dislike it when a person calls someone lazy or low effort without having any concrete evidence of them doing so, or even having the context of why the end product becomes like that. I'm not saying this because I'm trying to defend Hoyo or anything here. It is just an act I truly dislike because when I see someone is on the receiving end, it feels quite painful. It is not so much different from what politicians and mainstream media do, spreading hate and controlling the narratives. So for the rest of the video, let me talk about my observation and analysis from a game design perspective regarding all these issues that people nitpick about and, in my opinion, blowing out of the proportions. I'm not a game designer, so if any of you know more about the specific details regarding what I'm about to say, please do comment in the section so that we can learn the truth together. But before we start with those analysis, there's one thing that I can say for sure. Honkai Star Rail did do something that comes across as lazy or low effort from the development side. It is the camera movement. They keep it static for way too long. I am a Wuthering Waves enjoyer. I played since day one, and I have all the characters. So after finishing amphoreus story, I continued with my Wuwa Arena Sida story, trying to pay attention to their camera works and some of their animation. And they do have a way more dynamic cameras, which I think really helps in keeping people's attention. Because I would assume that static camera is not great for people with short attention span, which is, I would assume, a big percentage of human being that currently walks on this earth. I truly think that camera work should not be an issue for hoyoverse, because there were some nice camera work in amphoreus, like the ones at the very end when Fanon is about to embark to his trial. So it should not be a problem, and yet the camera works in amphoreus is very inconsistent, and I hope for 3.1 that is gonna get some polish. And additionally, I was trying to dig if there could be some technical limitation from Unity Engine regarding camera work, but no. Unity Engine should be able to handle dynamic camera work just fine, but maybe not as good as other game engine. Alright, with that out of the way, let's speculate on why there's lack of animation in hoyoverse games, and by extension, resulting in a black screen. So I've done a bit of digging and speculation on why there's lack of unique animations during and real-time cutscenes in hoyoverse games. Genshin has this issue, Xenoblade Zero has this issue, and evidently Honkai Star Rail too. I was thinking really hard, how come a company like Hoyo with tons of budget is not being able to pull something that many AAA games have pulled for years now? It is very easy to just call them lazy or putting low effort to save money and then putting them into advertisement and etc. But I don't like doing that. I have no evidence of that. But what I can do is try to speculate from technical side of things. Then I would like to invite all of you who are listening to put your knowledge in the comment section. So if my speculation is wrong, please do correct me, write it in the comment section, because this video aims to open up the discussion and space for those with technical expertise to actually explain it to the others. So I end up with these 3 speculations right now. The first one, the game engine limitation. We know that hoyoverse is using Unity Engine to create their game, but have you guys ever noticed this? There's really no big scale 3D AAA games with high fidelity that actually uses Unity Engine. Why is that? Is it because it will cause performance issue? I tried checking on what engines popular games use. I googled best game that is made with Unity Engine, and I end up with the following: Pokemon Go, Fall Guys, Among Us, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and Genshin. None of these games are large-scale games with lots of detailed environment, except Genshin. And if you try to take a look at other big video games, many companies out there end up making their own engine or end up using Unreal Engine 4 and now moving on to Unreal Engine 5. For example, one of the prettiest open world game right now, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, uses Unreal Engine 5. Like a Dragon Yakuza game uses Dragon Engine, Capcom uses RE Engine, Metaphor using GFD Engine, and all these games are able to make really nice real-time cutscenes with in-game model. But these are not really live service games. They have a lot of time to make their game and secure that much needed animation with motion captures and rigging. So let's compare with another live service game. Once again, we're going back to Wuthering Waves that uses Unreal Engine 4. They are able to make a very detailed character expression despite it being an anime game, while being able to render all of the high quality environment assets, which I think largely thanks to the power of Unreal Engine. Correct me if I'm wrong, Wuthering Waves are undoubtedly one of the, if not the prettiest free-to-play games out there. So after making this comparison, that makes me think, could Unity Engine holding back what Hoyo wants to make due to its technical limitation? Is that why outside combat, character animations are so limited? Because it will cause some performance issue? Some people in forums like Reddit did mention that it could be Unity Engine's weakness, but if any of you know the answers, please tell me if this is right or wrong. If that is true, I heard that Hoyo is currently developing their own engine. I wonder if it's possible for their games to make a transitions from Unity Engine to their own engine during their game's lifespan. I think we will have to wait and see for that. My second speculation on why hoyoverse games feel a bit outdated compared to other games, I think it's about space. And this still has some connection with the previous point. I was wondering why amphoreus update was so small. I think it was about 18 GB, despite knowing that this is gonna be a major update. After finishing the story, I have some theory. These arcs will be very action heavy, therefore they will need a whole lot new animations to show to make a very memorable and effective cutscenes. And if the limitation of the engine causing them not being able to show animation heavy, real-time cutscenes, they have to use pre-rendered cutscenes, which can take a lot of space. Therefore, which is why you could see the pre-rendered cutscenes in these updates are so short, and only few of them. And pre-rendered cutscenes can take a lot of space, even though it's using in-game model. So the reason why the updates are relatively small might be because they have a very few pre-rendered cutscenes for a very long story. And I would assume the majority of the file size is from the actual environment, the texture files, and audio files. Because if that's not the case, how come Zenless Zone Zero that is only about half a year old and not open world or having intricate world design is about 70 GB in size, while Honkai Star Rail only 60 GB? I think because I've been playing ZZZ a lot lately, and I noticed that ZZZ has quite many pre-rendered cutscenes, and they have quite a bit of different textures and character models, like their NPCs are quite varied. And their animations are very detailed, and therefore I think it is taking quite a lot of space. So if they want to address all of those black screen and lack of animation, Star Rail could put more pre-rendered cutscenes, but the trade-off will be a huge storage space. And the other portion of the loud users out there will start making it a problem too. So you cannot please everyone. One thing that HSR can perhaps do to alleviate the usage of black screen and also lack of variety of animations is perhaps by using the full or part of the character idle or combat animation, which is what Genshin's like doing. But I think a very good example of this usage is actually, once again, Withering Waves. Bran is an unreleased character, and he does this animation of raising both of his hand high up and then to the side quite often. And for those who have seen his slick animation, he does that at the end of some of his attack combos. Carlota does this a lot too, with her pointing her gun, which is, I think, is her ultimate animation. So recycling animations from their combat animations is not a bad idea. I don't know why the developers of Honkai Star Rail is not doing that. The thing with HSR, there might be some characters that only have in-game model and their animations are not quite finished yet. For example, for Chibi and Midaimos, when 3.0 was finished, they had no combat animations and their animations only being done recently. Therefore, the developers didn't have time to actually put all those animation in. Otherwise, the data miner would have already found that out. And also, many of HSR animations are so specific, so there's a chance that it might look a bit awkward when it is being used in cutscenes. So yeah, if they do have some limitation with their engine, and the solution is to use pre-rendered cutscenes, the trade-off would be having lots of storage space is being used. And people are still gonna be angry about that anyway, for different reasons. And my third speculation will be time constraints. I think this will be the weakest speculation. As I've said, this is going to be an action-heavy arc, so some pretty unique animations might be needed to spice up the action scenes. It's a hero journey, it bounds to have lots of actions, which is very different with Penacony that is focusing more around mystery. However, if you want the characters to have unique animations in the story scenes on top of their unique combat animation, most likely they will have to do some more motion capture works, and that most likely cannot be done in every update, and that needs to be done within the 40-ish days that they have to release a patch. Remember, in a project there are usually very specific deadlines that they need to follow, and they need to move on to the next phase of the project after that deadline passes. So that's why adding more animation is not within their scopes. Maybe they just don't have enough time to do so. So I personally think that they should make every path to become about 28 days long instead of 21 days, so they could have more time to polish things like animation and camera works. But once again, if they do that, there must be some loud people out there that finishes every content in one day saying it takes forever for next update and there's not enough content, so the game sucks. No matter what you do, someone is gonna be very unhappy. But yeah, this speculation is the weakest because then again, they can hire more people to make up for it, but the trade-off is that managing them will be a lot more difficult. There would be quality discrepancies because multiple people will work on different things. So yeah, they're a multi-billion company. They probably should have a way around to deal with the time constraints, like outsourcing, for example. Well, those are all 3 speculations for me. Let me know your thoughts about what are possible limitations that hoyoverse might have compared to other game developers, like Kuro, for example. I tried to speculate from technical point of view after doing some digging. If there's any experienced game developer watching this video, do point out if whatever I said has some truth in it, or is it just baseless speculations and I'm aiming at the wrong directions. Hey, at the very least, I've opened up the discussion instead of just pointing fingers and whining. It is true that hoyoverse games start to show its age compared to newer gacha games like Wuthering Waves and maybe even Art Knight Enfield. I heard good things about that game, but they are behind. Is it because due to lack of innovation, or is it more a limitation that we are not aware of, such as the game engine? Who knows? Hopefully someone can shed light into this. It is true that there's a lot of room for improvement for Honkai Star Rail 3.0. I hope it will be addressed at 3.1, but it is still very sad to see people blowing things out of proportion, because I think the dark screen and lack of animations, it's only a minor issue, while the devs managed to deliver many great things from 3.0 updates, such as character designs, pretty nice level design, both visually and from exploration point of view, memorable character of course, most importantly, a good story and lore to tell. It is crazy for me that I saw some comments in Sentonta's video saying that they're quitting Honkai Star Rail because these black screen issues or because of the lack of animation. I'm like, sure, whatever, you do you. Perhaps these people not playing the game is better for the game. Anyway, that's all from me. I've yapped for too long. Sorry if the structure of the argument is a bit messy. I just want to get this off my chest. So for the next video, I'm going to talk about the positive stuff about amphoreus, so stay tuned. And I'm also going to make an analysis video regarding 4-star characters in gacha games, especially for Honkai Star Rail, on why we barely see any of them these days. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I make video game discussion content at least once a week if I'm healthy and not too busy with my day job. Until the next video, stay sharp gamers.
Oh, and don't forget to like and subscribe!